かね。やれやれ。また忙しくなってきやがったな。水放射食堂へようこそ。
What's going on, my friends? Welcome to the Outcast restaurant, episode 12, the finale, the season finale. That's all she wrote. What an episode. As we have gotten towards the end of the season for all anime, like most anime, seasonal anime are ending. One of the things that I've been really harping on is making sure that your viewer, and when I say you, right, I mean like the studios that are putting together the anime, making sure that their viewers who have dedicated their time, their money to watching your show, making sure that they feel valued and making sure that the ending is satisfying for anybody that watches your show. And a lot of anime have just not been accomplishing that. Even some of the best ones of the season have just had doo-doo endings. But Welcome to the Outcast restaurant really nailed the ending. Episode 12 was wholesome. It was cute. It was funny. The interaction between Katie and Jean, or Dennis's mom, was really, really funny. I love that Katie talked about wanting to intervene but getting sliced in half. The mystery of how Dennis reached level 100. The fact that Jean talked in platitudes and she didn't really understand. It was just a really funny interaction and wholesome between potentially future wife and mom, stepmom or mother-in-law, whatever you want to call it. It was just a really wholesome, funny, cute interaction between these two important people in Dennis's life. And I just I loved it. I adored it. Then the fight with Dennis and Vigo came to a really good close. Dennis unlocked his potential, unlocked level 100, and then did a gravitational, restaurant exit move on Vigo that just like pounded bro into the floor. And that takes me back to the conversation where Jean and Katie were saying that, like, oh, I can't believe that boy unlocked the skill, and Katie was like, it's not even a cooking skill, and Jean was like, ha ha ha, of course it wasn't. And it's funny because as they're talking about that, you can kind of think through all the moments that happened in the show, and Jean's talking about like, oh, he unlocked level 100, not to be the best chef, but to be a chef who can protect the people that are close to him. So it's like a different kind of chef than what she is, a different level 100 than she is. And the fact that two chefs reaching level 100 in this world level 100 is just a rarity. So I just thought it was so cool. And the fight that came to a close between Dennis and Vigo was really good as well too. Then Popo and everybody else, they put in the effort and the work into rebuilding his restaurant. The end is really incredible where, he talks about welcome to the restaurant. Like, oh, we're going to be busy as Atelier and Dennis went shopping and stuff for all the restaurant things. All the girls and Vivia put together a blueprint of what they wanted, a basement and rooms and a bath and all this stuff. And it ended up just being the same restaurant again with little improvements. And I thought that was like the best way to kind of like redo everything, was like to put it back to what it was and what made it special and what, how Dennis holds it in his heart. I think everybody recognized that. And I like how the town kind of came together and they're like, yes, we're behind Dennis here. And I thought that was just so wholesome and so cute, and I really loved it. Last thing I'll kind of say, as I kind of recap through the end, is I love how Vivia was talking to his friend, right? The magician that he met in the cave when Dennis saved him and stuff. And I like how he kind of recapped everything for us. It was really good. He talked about like, the magicians are trying to restore the books that burned down and the restaurant's getting rebuilt, and Atelier did decide not to take over the family, because she wants to stay with Dennis and this and that. I thought that was a really, really cool thing, a really cool way to kind of do that little recap as he's kind of talking to us, but then really he's talking to his friend who's no longer with us. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. And I guess the very last thing is they also opened up the door for the guy who looked like Dennis, who Vivia had recognized before in town. He's like, oh, Dennis is my little brother. He's like, I knew he was going to do something cool. And that brings ties to what could potentially be leaving the door open. And that's what I always talk about when we're ending the show is leave the door a little open. Like, don't leave it completely open and don't close the door, especially if you think that there could be more to your story. Just leave it cracked open. And that's the crack, right? At the end of the episode, he says, welcome to the Outcast restaurant. And they have a good ending. but that crack is left open because, you know, oh, what does it mean that he's Dennis's little brother? What is he trying to accomplish? He's like, Vigo's not in the way anymore. You know, it's like, oh, what is that mystery? But then they kind of move on. They say, and then they end the show. So that door is cracked open. That's how you end a season. A little mystery to say, hey, if they decide or get authorization or if they get the money or funding, or if the writer has more source material, that door is cracked so they can come back for a season 2 and it feels natural. But if they never get one, the door was also almost all the way closed. It just left a little crack open, little mystery. So anyways, I thought this was a 9 out of 10. I think it was. It wholesome, cute, funny, charming, good ending, satisfying, and a little mystery in case it ever comes back. There's nothing else I could ask for, honestly, in the end of the episode. And I know it was kind of harsh on them kind of stretching out content the last couple episodes, which they did do, but they still did nail the ending. So I definitely want to give flowers where their flowers are due, give credit where credit's due. And I think they really nailed the end of the episode. So I just want to give you guys one, and the only thing that was missing was more gourmet. Like the show's about food and we didn't get a lot of food. That's still one of the biggest thing that I think the show ends at a 7 out of 10. And I think that part of the reason is because it didn't focus on the food like it should have. But overall, 9 out of 10. Last episode, I think Welcome to the Outcast restaurant nailed it. Thank you guys for being with me all season long. I appreciate you guys who are here from episode 1 and episode 12. We'll be back in the fall for more anime, so stick with me as we find new anime this fall. I'll be having videos released on, you know, the 10 anime you should watch. We'll do a video where we go through every anime. We decide what we're watching, what we're not watching. So make sure you check out either the Otaku Room Reacts or the Otaku Room channel. I have 2 YouTube channels, so make sure you subscribe to both. Hit me with a like before you guys leave, and let me know your final comments in the comments. All right, friends. One love. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Don't work too hard. Don't study too hard. Don't relax too hard. Peace out.